Welcome to episode 248 of the Emergent Gamer podcast. This is one of your co-hosts, Lock and Key. And who else do I have with me?
You got Trip Zero,
Neo Aoshi,
and Felix Hergood.
How you guys doing during quarantine, man?
doing great, man. Hanging in there.
I realize I haven't talked to you since we went into quarantine.
I haven't talked to a lot of people since we went into quarantine, which is really
I miss people.
which is really weird. You would think that you have more time to communicate with people. Obviously not in person, but more time to communicate with people. And yeah, I was actually thinking about it today. There's a ton of people that I need to text tomorrow just to make sure that they're see how they're doing. Yeah, we haven't really caught up personally.
It's like one of these things where you suddenly think of a person and then you go, wait a minute, I should probably text them. You know what I mean? Like, because they literally could be not communicating with me because of death.
Sure.
Like, it's a real thing.
Menti from Fireside texted me like last week, and I was like, man, yeah, I could have texted you weeks ago. Thanks for texting me and making sure I was all right. And we were just talking, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm by myself. He's like, I'm fucking lonely.
Oh
no, like he's got, it's funny because, on the opposite end, right? Like my wife probably doesn't want to be around me anymore. And my kid's going crazy wanting to actually go outside and do other things besides being in the house. And then he's on the flip side, which is like, I need social engagement with humans because I've not been around anybody, which is an interesting thing that I didn't think of. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's really crazy because he's kind of like he was born right before the beginning of this shit. That's weird, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, for my son, yeah. I mean,
he was definitely born before this.
No, I'm saying, but he turned a year before it outbroke. Is that right?
Yeah,
or?
he's two next week.
Oh, he's going to be 2. Okay.
Yeah, he's 2 next week.
Right. So.
Yeah, but yeah. So the quarantine, man.
Yeah, I'm worried I'm driving my roommate a little too crazy because he's still working.
Oh, is he?
And I'm just self-quarantining at home, doing my thing, and I'm always here.
Right,
So-
right.
Mine works from home anyway, so he's just kind of been doing his own thing.
Staying
But
in his
obviously,
lane.
it's tough to not be able to get out, get a cup of coffee, go work somewhere else. Even it's just
Yeah, I would love to
Takes a
get
toll.
out and work somewhere like a cafe, but that's not what we're supposed to be doing right now, which is
Right.
unfortunate.
Yeah, basic stuff, man. The little tiny things that you don't even think about suddenly get stripped away. You then desperately want. Yeah, like I went food. I was telling you guys earlier before we started recording, but like going to the grocery store was such a project today. It was such a project trying to go through it. And nobody followed the signs in the store. Like how?
oh yeah, there's like
complicated is
there's
it?
a path on the
There's
ground.
arrows telling
Arrows.
you which way to go.
There's distance.
Big yellow arrows telling you
Yeah.
which way to walk. And
That's
every
wild.
aisle I went up, someone was walking the opposite way. And then looked at me like I was crazy.
I was in the grocery store earlier today as well, and there was like a family with multiple kids out running around, and they all had their own masks, but none of them were using them. And
course
they were just running. They were being kids. They were running everywhere, like being loud and
Kids
stuff.
are
and I'm like,
fucking
this is-
landmines, dude.
Oh my god, I
They
can't.
terrify
with this.
me when I'm on my walks. I'm not even kidding.
When he's on his walks,
So
he
I
sounds like a
I take walks.
geriatric.
Hey, this week was the first week I did yoga. I did fucking yoga this
Yeah.
week.
How was that,
Good for you.
dude?
Boy, that
How
is
was yoga?
That is soul crushing. I've been having a great time doing it, but man,
Yoga's fucking lit, man.
dude, when you
Is
get
it soul crushing because you realize how limber you're not?
exactly, I'm the furthest from limber.
What kind of yoga are you doing, Felix?
Just regular Adrian yoga. She's Adrian. She's on YouTube.
She's Adrian. Oh,
She's on YouTube.
Regular Adrian yoga.
Follow her.
Are you okay? All right, let me ask you a better question. Are you
she's
doing
really-
like you're stretching and poses, or are you doing like the flow kind of stuff where you like go downward dog into a thing and then
Yeah, that's what
no,
we're doing.
fucking-
It flows.
Got it. Okay, cool.
It flows.
It's Adrian yoga. She's on YouTube.
She's great. Look her up. Just type Adrian yoga.
I believe you. Actually,
get
I'm
her.
gonna look up.
I'm sure you'll find her.
She's fucking
Get
badass.
That's a plug.
Very,
My first yoga I
very
ever did was,
attractive too. She's very attractive to watch.
I'm sure that helps when you're doing the yoga flow.
Jesus.
I did yoga
what
with
if,
P90X the first time, and that shit was fucking hard, man. That shit destroys you.
It definitely does.
But yeah.
I should.
But when
But
I'm
I'm
on
not.
these walks, Locke, I'll be
Yeah, these walks,
I'll
tell
be
me about
walking,
Beeswax.
And the only people that I fully trust are people with animals, because they always nod at me and give me a look, and then immediately cross the street before I even get to where they are. But people with kids who are walking don't want to give their kids the impression that they're in the middle of a terrifying apocalypse. So the kids have no idea what's going on. So the parents are walking, and they're definitely giving me the eye, like, we got to cross the street. But they're completely. This father the other day I saw was walking with like his 2 kids, and his kids were all over the place, and he looked at me nervously, like he knew, like he couldn't control his fucking kids, just like start walking crazy all over the place. Fortunately, the kids stayed on his side of the road, and they just kept walking. But he was like. I saw him like reaching his arm out, like, no, don't go that way. Don't go that way. You're going to walk toward that man. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's just fucking funny how people are now, dude.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And then there's the people that like are trying to follow some type of protocol but are doing it wrong. Like the guy that was wearing the rubber gloves today at the grocery store, who was on his phone, like
Couldn't use it.
And then you just touched your phone after you touched everything in the grocery store. Like your phone is now, like you're not supposed to do that. Just like how hard is it to not make it through one grocery shopping trip to not touch your phone?
Yeah.
I want to show you guys something. This is the mask that my parents made for me, and it has like reusable filters in them. Like you like pull out a filter.
Oh, nice.
And then you can wash them and stuff. So pretty handy. Thanks, Pops, for this.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm rocking.
Mrs. Felix can hear our conversation, and she just texted me, "You've got to get back on board with the yoga. You're slacking."
Call it out, dude.
She's calling it out. So.
Oh man.
So what have you gamers been up to? What have you been gaming?
Oh, where should we begin?
Do you want me to begin? Get me out of the way, and I'll just shut the fuck up.
You sound ready.
Why don't you
Ready,
begin?
man.
You want me to begin? I'll begin.
Do you want me to start?
Begin.
So I completed something.
Tell us about what you completed.
I got the Resident Evil 3 Platinum.
I can't
To the
believe
surprise of no one.
To the surprise of no one.
I mean, there
Highs
is
and
like
lows of you playing that are insane.
there's a little bit of a surprise that he's this fucking Resident Evil pro now. It doesn't surprise me that you finally finished it and you platinumed it.
Pro is 55 minutes. That's the world record for the game.
And what did you get?
I did it on Inferno in an hour and 12 minutes.
You're close to the record, man.
I was really close. Yeah.
Are we gonna see you on Games Done Quick speedrunning this?
So like, I mean, pro's not too far off. Pro in comparison to me. I mean, you're a pro in comparison to me.
Right.
And I mean, so what? You didn't beat the world record.
But
It's the point that like you are playing Resident Evils and you're platinum, like going through and getting a platinum, and you're speed running and all this other stuff. It's just, if we rewound to pre-Resident Evil 2 remake, no one would have saw this coming.
no one would have saw this.
Or even Resident Evil 3.
I was gonna say, dude, rewind to day one of either game, and
After I did like,
Felix, I feel like you're gonna have a heart attack every day, dude, and it's hard to watch. I just want to give you a hug and be like, it's gonna be okay, man.
for what?
even
Wait,
s-
for what?
yeah.
For what game?
You started
Resident
2.
Oh, just in
And
general.
2 and 3 when you were fighting the
Oh, yeah,
Nemesis
yeah,
in 3.
I would say the final fight of Nemesis in this on Nightmare and Inferno is probably 2 of the hardest things I've done. They were harder than Resident Evil 2. Like I just don't. My mind doesn't function the way they need me to function. Like I watched this kid who was fighting that fight on Inferno, and there's this thing that the Nemesis does where he just smacks like this, and he just keeps smacking. And I watched this kid online do it, and he literally just kept perfect dodge, perfect dodge, perfect dodge, perfect dodge. Every time the thing slapped. Like, I barely got through this fight on Inferno with survival. Like, I barely got through it. And I watched this kid just go, he just kept rolling through. The thing slapped like 8 times.
It's
and
reaction
he died.
time, dude.
Yeah, I just don't have it. I just don't have it.
I think we all lose it with age, my friend.
Right, I have some, but like I surely got through that final fight on luck, and I did not stream it. I did not stream the Inferno fight. because it was just it was going to be too hard.
Was that intentional? Did you
Too
just
much
not want
pressure.
to focus on?
I was like, after I did Nightmare, and it was a fucking nightmare, and I got done. I was like,
As the name implies.
name of the mode.
because getting through the run, you know, like I unlocked the unlimited rocket launcher. Getting through the run itself is pretty breezy with the rocket launcher. It does all the runs are pretty much the same with the unlimited rocket launcher. But like then I get to that final fight and it requires all that like crackerjack fucking timing, and that's when
Crackerjack time.
that's when everything breaks down, right?
Yeah.
I just so
you,
whatever.
You wanted to ask me a question now. So now
Yeah.
that
So
you've-
the big question I have for you, Neo, is you've played both of these games, Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3. Is Resident Evil 7 going to give me that same feeling? I don't want to play a game that's like, what's the fucking game lock that you really love? Outlast? Is that which is more like a jump scare horror game, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's not even anything similar to Resident Evil 2 and
Like,
3 in any capacity.
With Resident Evil 7, do people do like speed runs, and is it like that, or
you for sure. So 7 was like their, I want to call it their experiment back into a more classic Resident Evil style, what we got with 2 and 3 almost. And they did that in first person. So that's going to be the only significant difference that you're going to really notice off the bat.
it's just
it's in first person. There's a Mr. X-like figure in the game.
Okay.
I won't spoil,
You
but
don't
there
have
is
to spoil it. Yeah.
a reoccurring villain that will keep coming at you. And there are puzzles, and the rooms are laid out similarly like 2, where you're constantly moving back and forth between rooms to try and solve puzzles. So that flow is very much intact.
Okay. Well, if
ahead.
that's the case, then
It's-
I'll probably get it. I mean,
It's also a little scarier, honestly. Like
It
than 2 is. I mean,
big
obviously,
hard
first
vibes.
person it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I was
in
gonna say it's
perception.
the first person is what changes it. Like if Outlast was third person, it wouldn't, like, you don't get scared if you don't get scared as easily.
If
Right?
you can whip
But
the
when-
camera around to check something, you're fine.
Right.
because
You have
it's
to be like,
happening to
"Ugh."
that character, it's not happening to you.
Yeah, and also you can see more in third person.
Right.
In first person,
Blind
your
spots.
FOV is shrunk down, and they use that intentionally to scare the fuck out of you. So
Truth.
I would definitely say I didn't play 7, but just from watching it and then playing 2 and 3 when I was younger, like it's definitely scarier for sure.
I
think you
jump a
should do
lot
it.
playing 7.
Yeah, I think you should play it, Felix. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'll look for it on sale. I think I'll try it. It's probably, like I can't always be playing fucking Fallout,
No,
True.
Really?
Yeah,
You sure?
I need a break every now and then.
Do you want to update us on Fallout?
Yeah, well, I want you to update me on you played the PC and you
did.
said that you noticed some. I need to know the info. People are coming into Lock and Trip. You need to understand that people are coming into my stream, watching me enjoy this game, and then they're asking me, "Oh, I only
Why do
play
you
on
like this game?"
No, well, I made the joke that
Why do you like this game?
no, before the launch of Wastelanders, the 3 questions I got were, "Why are you still playing this piece of shit game?"
Fair.
You know what I mean?
okay.
Should I?
Sounds right.
And then the second question, if I tell them why, should I get this piece of shit game? And then the third thing is, can you launch a nuke? Those are the 3 questions that I would get all the time.
They want to see the big nuke.
They want to see the big nuke. But with Wastelanders, things have changed. Things are completely different these days because the game is now. I'm not even playing the game the way I played the previous game. So in how the game was prior to Wastelanders, it was you load in and then you fast travel quite frequently to get around the map in order to accomplish things like public events and farming for legendary weapons, and you even fast traveled for every single quest that you did. Now that I'm playing in Wastelanders, I'm like taking it slow. I'm walking everywhere. I'm not fast traveling.
So
I
part of my
already know the
problem-
map. I already know the map.
When I first played it, I guess a year ago when it came out or whatever, was I tried to play it like a Fallout game where you don't really fast travel. You kind of want to walk the
Right.
beaten path and see all the weird shit that the world offers, right? You want to see all like the weird events and people, but there's none of that before Wastelanders, right?
Right. There was nothing between the points. The points
It
had
was
things, but nothing
More
between them.
barren land, yeah. And to be honest, that's boring. I don't want to just fast travel everywhere in a Fallout game. Like I want to, like in Skyrim, I want to walk everywhere and experience what the game does.
Exactly.
But I can tell you, since playing Wastelanders, because I also have played Wastelanders, and now I can actually talk with you about this. This is fun, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right off the bat, bad impression it left in my mouth was I made a character, and I left the vault, and the first thing it did was the entire screen went blue, and I could not I didn't blue screen, like a hue of blue covered the entire game.
Like a tint to what you were looking
Like
at.
a real dark tint. Like I couldn't see anything, but I knew the game was still existing and running because the sounds were still happening and everything was still going on. It responded to everything I pressed. And I'm like, okay, well, let me restart the game. I'll reboot my computer too, just to be safe. Same thing. So I had
Still
to make
blue.
another character. I had to make another character, and then it fixed. So great start. But
Not good
after
jank.
leaving the
Not
vault,
good jank.
you're greeted by NPCs you see like right outside the vault, and then like that's when you begin to go, okay, it's like kind of a Fallout game now, because now the world's inhabited. You got Jason Mewes' character, he's in there, the ghoul in the bar that you first walk into. It's feels like a Fallout game, and they obviously have the old quest line is still there with the you're following the overseer's path, kind of, right?
Well,
There's the new quest line that they have you all do a whole bunch of other stuff.
what I discovered, and I think I might have mentioned this on the show last week, is they've also rewritten slightly, not crazy, not how you accomplish them, but they rewrote all the prior quests. So now I'm doing, hey, Trip Zero, I'm doing my proximity run. You know how I did that in Assassin's Creed?
Like
Where
like
I just do whatever's the nearest quest. Because if you're walking everywhere and you're not fast traveling, you need to be doing what's nearest, because otherwise, you know, if you do just main story quests, you could be walking for 4 hours between quests because some of them are halfway across the map.
Yeah, you want to pick up all the little
So
question marks.
this has been forcing me to kind of end up playing some of the older missions over again, and I've been spending mostly a lot of time in the Flatwoods area, just kind of unlocking locations just by course of how I play. You know, it's been great. And then the other people I play with on a regular basis, we've now created like a little town around the Wayward. So all of our houses are all like right where the Wayward is.
Oh, like you are making your own little
We
settlement.
made a fucking village, and it's really actually fun. You know, we check back in with our village after we've done a quest, and I'm playing the game completely different. And I really seriously think, I recommend anyone who's listening to this right now, if you're going to play this game, don't go into the old grind of fast traveling everywhere. Because if you do, you're not playing the game. There's so much random shit I'm interacting with in between locations. How far did you play, Neo? Like,
I think I went about like 4 or 5 hours.
so did you do main quest stuff, or
I was jumping around. I was proximity playing, proximity questing, just running around doing wherever the world was taking me.
yeah, whatever's near.
I didn't like build anything. I didn't like get deep into that stuff, but I did it in the pre Wastelander stuff, and I didn't hate that stuff. That was fine.
Yeah.
But I also played in Andy's Fallout First World.
Oh,
as
yeah,
he has.
yeah.
So when he's playing,
I forgot he bought the Fallout first.
Andy bought it.
I can jump in on that world because we're already buddies in the game or on Steam, and yeah, it's a private world. But the moment he logs out, though, it goes, "Oh, you got to leave here within 20 minutes, otherwise."
You get a
You're dead.
countdown. They give you like a
Yeah.
counter that counts you down.
And it's annoying, man. It just like it clicks on you until you do something.
yeah, it's
But the shooting still, like after going from like we're gonna talk about Valorant in a second, but going from like high intensity shooters like Valorant and other shooters like that to the way Fallout controls, it is, goddamn man, it is annoying. It does not feel good to play.
It's probably super clunky.
look,
super
it's
clunky.
VATS heavy. I mean, you build
Yeah.
characters with VATS perk loadouts and all that shit, and that's how you get into the meta of the game. The meta of the game is not.
Black's like, nah.
However, no, I will tell you the meta of bows so far is
Yeah.
to aim. Like the bows aim just like Skyrim. They're outstanding. I really
cool.
been enjoying using the bow. Right now, I'm doing strictly a bow, revolver sidearm build. That's what I'm doing. So the character's only going to use bows and only use revolver sidearms. Every other gun that I get will be turned in, scrapped, traded, whatever. And I'm gonna have fun with that. It's almost like a role play. So I've been enjoying it.
Awesome.
Do you think that they will? Actually, let me backtrack. So we're gonna eventually get a new Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
right? Like that'll eventually come. Do you see them
Yeah.
letting go of this and then moving to a single player, or do you see them not doing any more standalone Fallouts and they just continue to evolve
This is the exact point I was making prior to the show when we were referencing GTA 6. We were talking
Sure.
about how that's out there.
But
The business
yeah, but-
models of these companies are changing, and the problem is dumbasses like me are making it successful.
well, sure.
Right? So, like,
you said it,
You're
man.
definitely not helping.
Yeah.
I'm not helping. No.
But yeah, but I think there's a difference between like
there it is.
GTA 5 standalone and then GTA Online versus Fallout 76.
Right.
Because
there
Fallout
is,
76
there is no main story. There's no, like...
right. It's right.
It's
so
all
my
online.
right. So the question that I have is, do you think there will be a Fallout 5? Right? Is that what we're on? Fallout 5 would be the next
Yeah, it would
entry,
be. Probably the next one.
or do you see them just releasing like DLC content, or do they do both?
There,
I think that depends
ahead.
on if they want to change like locations, because a location, the setting is often like a huge part of like a Fallout or a Skyrim type game.
Sure.
And I'm assuming like when we're talking about GTA 6 rumors, a new city is going to provide a different avenue for like the playground. The playground will be different, and they can build upon that with new
I
engine.
fucking heard... the
abilities.
rumors that I've been hearing constantly about GTA 6 is that the goddamn city is going to be Vice City again. And they're going to still have that 80s, like, fucking aesthetic. And I'm like...
We can't leave the 80s behind, dude.
I don't want to
Still
leave
here.
the 80s behind, but Jesus,
Oh,
come
we're
up
never
with
gonna be able
come up
to.
with a new city. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but couldn't
but
they, like, to your point though, Neo, couldn't they just do that with an expansion in Fallout 76? Like, nothing's
Oh, yeah.
saying you need to stay where you are.
Oh, yeah,
right,
and like
so if,
Fallout
like-
4 added new locations too in their expansions.
Right.
yeah, they could
right.
put like a marker at the end of the map that just takes you somewhere else. Like you walk to
Right.
it,
It's,
and then you just go
it
to a
would be
different
different
server.
if like Fallout ever did groundbreaking things to their engine. I feel like Fallout 3 looks the same as Fallout 4. And it's the same as Fallout New Vegas, right?
Yeah,
so
they're
like,
just shinier, honestly.
right. So, you know,
The
the reason why I asked that is because I personally, as someone that will never play a Fallout game ever again, I would be hard pressed to see them walk away from Fallout 76 and then release a standalone Fallout 5 versus just continuing to support this for as long as they possibly can. Personally,
I think that's a given that they're going to be doing that, supporting it literally for as long as people are paying it, and it makes the money, which it's now going to be making them more money because this is so well received. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's not going away at all, and they'd be less inclined to even work on a standalone one.
We also know it's not on their timeline for the next foreseeable 2 releases that Bethesda Softworks is actually working on. They have
Yeah.
Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Sure.
Oh god, I want Starfield so fucking bad.
But we don't even know what, like, if it's in that engine.
you want the
like,
concept of Starfield. Is
Yeah,
what you
like-
want.
I do. I have a lot in my brain that's amazing about
the
this
thing
game.
that concerns me about any Bethesda game is like they're going to be, if they're going to continue using this engine and just band-aid it every time a new generation of
Yeah,
consoles
yeah.
comes.
No,
it's
you're
like,
right. You're not
And
wrong.
the word
Come on,
among
guys.
the word among people who play Fallout 76 on a regular basis is most of them, because of the business model that they chose with Fallout 76 and the success that it is making in some respects, like people are worried that Elder Scrolls 6 is really going to be a service game as well. Like
and that's entirely possible.
they're worried that
but
that's
then-
going to happen.
Yeah, but then wouldn't they be taking away? I mean, I know but they're taking away from ESO, right?
Right, exactly. That's
But by
right.
like service
that
game,
wouldn't
I
make
mean,
sense,
like
yeah.
they're gonna sell DLC and mods, like that kind of thing, like sell like content
Oh,
patches and
well,
stuff.
yeah, but I mean, if it's in Steam, they're not going to be able to just sell mods because you're going
Mm-hmm.
to have a workshop. If they sell DLC, I mean, didn't Elder Scrolls,
It did.
what's the
Yeah.
one that everyone's still fucking playing? What's
Skyrim.
that one? Skyrim. Didn't that have DLC?
Tons of DLC, yeah.
Tons,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, but if they make it a Fallout 76 style game, then they're ripping away from another game that you like, which is ESO. Which
That's what I'm
seems
saying. There's also
silly.
this other camp of people who are like, I really enjoy. I don't want to interact and fight with other people, but I really do enjoy, building like we're doing with this town thing, like building a town, playing alongside my friend in an Elder Scrolls world. That would be a cool concept to do, and it not be an MMO where it's just like the team of 4, like doing it. I don't
There's a
know.
multiplayer aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
I don't know if that would cut into the Elder Scrolls business because people who play that are playing MMO. That's what they want to play.
I don't think it would. I mean, having a co-op in a
Yeah.
story. In I don't know. I mean, in a game like Elder Scrolls, it blurs the lines a little bit differently than like a traditional, single player experience having a multiplayer experience,
But
because it's so big and massive. It can be, you can do a lot in that world, in that sandbox. Yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll wait and see.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been pretty fun. But I haven't gotten through really any of the because of how I'm playing. It's like I rarely level up a game session. I'll play for 4 hours and level up maybe once. And I've hardly played any of the story stuff. The other people that I play with on a regular basis are way further along than I am. And they've experienced like a lot of the in-game stuff, like the in-game currency that you can get. Because the whole premise of the story is like they find gold in the region, and people start
It's a gold rush.
mining. Yeah, it ends up being a gold rush. So we can move on, but Neo, I did want to ask: are you going to play it more with?
Yeah,
Andy?
it's still installed. Yeah, it's still installed. I will pop on and play it like a Fallout game and see how that goes.
Seriously, consider
More or less.
picking up the bow and just not fast travel.
I'll fucks with the bow, and I haven't really fast traveled at all yet. I've just been running.
You get the bow from you get the bow plan from the early Duchess quests. Like
Okay.
the first 3 quests with Duchess, like you end up getting the bow plan. So definitely check that out. See how it fires and everything.
Nice.
But
right.
that's pretty much all I've been doing. I did want to just update Trip Zero. The Phillies have a 52 and 23 record.
Okay, dude, you're getting there.
Yeah, I just went on a 16-game winning streak before I lost.
Hell yeah,
Look at you, dude.
yeah.
And that-
Killing it.
Another
that's
game
not
you were
playing on-
complaining about.
That's not playing
months
on
ago.
the hardest difficulty.
It's almost
I'm-
like he complains
playing
before
on
he actually gives
All-Star.
it a shot.
It's almost.
Yeah,
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
You're making them proud because they can't play for real.
They
so
can't play
you're the
for
one doing
real,
it.
but yeah.
You're
Facts.
carrying the torch.
All right, Locke. Let's hear it. I wanted to talk about. I will save Final Fantasy for last if that's cool.
Sure.
But I do want to talk to Locke about Valorant because you've been playing that a whole lot.
I have, yeah. It's the only thing I've been playing.
So I talked a little bit about it last week, but I figured.
What'd you discuss last week? I didn't listen to the episode yet.
Yeah, I talked about how it felt like a really good iteration of like an evolution of like being a Counter-Strike game, with a nice twist to it, and it felt really good to play, and it really brought me back to those roots, and it makes me think. It makes me think differently about how I would play a Counter-Strike match because of all the skills and all the things that you bring into every fight, which is cool.
Yeah.
I really like the buy-in system and how it actually makes you. Because like in the Counter-Strike days, I didn't really like think about what I was buying. I was a kid, obviously. I didn't like plan out my what am I going to buy this round. But like now,
Right.
like I'm thinking about it actively, and I'm thinking about like what do I need? How is my character going to take advantage of this and all that kind of good stuff. But I really
Sure.
want to hear your thoughts on the game because you're pretty damn good at it.
Well, thanks, man. I don't feel
Yeah.
that way about myself in it, and that's part of the reason why I like to play it so much. Is I haven't felt not confident in a first-person shooter game since I was like 16 years old. So, and I don't say that to sound like some dickhead, even though I probably do sound like a dickhead, but because I did not play Counter-Strike growing up, and I didn't play keyboard and mouse growing up, right? Like I played your normal FPS like Halo CE and stuff like that on Xbox. I don't have the background in that style of shooter, and it's so vastly different than your modern day shooter that like it keeps me playing because I will go in a 1v1 engagement and I know that there's a strong chance that I will not win it because my shot is not as great as it would be in a modern day shooter. So it makes me want to play it to get better at it, to feel better at it. Modern day shooters, they help the player so much that you don't know how talented you really are because the game's doing so much work to compensate for how bad players actually are. And in a game like Valorant, where there's no aim assist, there's nothing helping you aim besides you making sure that you're actually clicking the head. it's challenging. It really is. And there's some games where I'll do really, really good, and then there's some games where I can't kill a single person, and it infuriates me. But that makes me want to play it more.
Yeah.
And I tried to play CS leading up to Valorant, and I couldn't do it. I just said, "Fuck it. I'll just learn the game when the game comes out," because CS feels so dated in comparison to Valorant now. It was hard to like pick up that style of game and try and learn it. So I would agree with you. Like the abilities, adding the abilities into it is an extra layer that makes it really fun to play.
Yeah.
And then of course the mechanics of it, it's going to be really hard to go back and play any other shooter. Like going back to play, I haven't played Warzone since it's come out. I haven't played Rainbow Six since it's come out. I haven't played Destiny since it's come out. So I'm a little concerned about what those games are going to feel like, because of how well their infrastructure is. I don't know if you went in depth on like the infrastructure of Valorant.
I have not.
So like for Trip and Felix and those listening, like they invested heavily on their servers, because they knew how poor server infrastructure is for modern day gaming. So they have 125, 128, I forget what the standard is, 128 or 125. Their tick rate for their servers is 125, which means that there's so much response happening between the time you fire a bullet to how it registers a kill. In comparison, Felix, Destiny's at 30.
Oh wow.
Meaning
Call of Duty's around there too.
yeah, I think Destiny's like 26. I think Apex is like, Jay from our Discord looked it up like as this was coming out, and I don't think there was any modern game above 30. And this is 125, 128, meaning that like if you've ever played a first person shooter and you feel like your bullets are hitting them and they're not registering, that's because the server is unable to interpret that your shots are actually hitting that player model.
And they've moved before your shots get there.
Correct. Exactly. So the fact that it's sending so much data back and forth so quickly means that your shot is going to count, and you can't blame the game for your shot not counting anymore.
Only
right?
yourself.
Like click the head. Yeah.
Like you didn't click the head is what it comes down to. Like there's no more like, oh, I did it. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And like some guy on Reddit the other day posted a video, and it was like, please tell me how I didn't kill this guy. And he posted a clip of like a player standing still that he like got the jump on, and he fires it, and someone in response replayed the video and slowed it down and zoomed in, and he wasn't hitting the head. Like that's what it came down to. It looked like he was hitting the head, but because there's no aim assist, there's no bullet. Like if the head is here, right, and your bullet's here, well then you missed. There's no game that the game's not helping you drag your bullet over, right? So it really does force you to learn the shooter, which is crazy.
There's no bloom either, is there?
No, I mean the weapon spray. I've played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and Rainbow Six Siege has weapons that are uncontrollable when you hold down the spray, and it takes a lot of mouse, like pulling down your mouse. And I can't control spray in this game. It's so hard to do, so you end up like bursting or spraying. But kids that do learn the recoil, that are able to hold down the fire button, they make it look so simple because they kill you so quickly because they've learned it. So that's another challenging aspect of it, is like, you know, how do you learn to spray your gun instead of tapping your gun?
So you're saying, Locke, you don't know how you're going to feel when you get back to the other games. Wouldn't you? Isn't this like a training simulator? Wouldn't you end up going back to the other games and be a god?
Maybe, because like you're
so different though between games.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Your aim might be right. Like my aim might be better, maybe a little bit, right? But it's hard to say. I mean, right now I don't want to put it down to try and test other games. Like I don't want to go in and play Warzone or Rainbow Six or any of that stuff right now. Not at least at this point. But yeah, there's a chance that I can go back to those games and, you know, they feel great. I know like Destiny wouldn't. Like Destiny will feel like garbage because of how bad the game is. But like Rainbow Six might feel better, right? And Warzone might feel a little bit better. I think Warzone has a ton of work to do infrastructure wise, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, but right now I'm having a ton of fun with it, and this is coming from someone that hated CS:GO. But you have to be like okay with realizing that you're not as good as you think you are, because the game's going to tell you that you're not good, and you have
Yeah, I'm sure, for a very
no
long
one to
time.
blame but yourself.
One of the complaints I see about the game is it being like too slow paced, but once you get into these like really like crazy battles and each round like ramps up as it goes, I end up finding like if gunfights can happen in a second and be over in a second very easily. And to piggyback off of like the server tick rate, it's like we have those moments when we're playing, and then some guy just likes to pop out and just take that first shot, and it happens instantly. And I'm like, I don't even know how that hit me. Like they hit me.
Right.
And you really feel how much the response time matters, because it is instant when it happens.
Yeah, like in this game, like almost every surface you can shoot through, right? Like just your damage and your velocity goes down a little bit, but most things you can shoot through. And people can poke out in an instant, right? Like if you're like, this game's all about lanes, right? You don't just free walk around the map and expect to win, right? So you can't play the game
corners like constantly.
Right. It's like, okay, I'm going to hold this lane and try and get the headshot first, and then we're going to push. Right. And it doesn't feel like a modern. And when I say modern, like modern console shooters, right? Like, because CS has existed for a very long time, but like every other shooter outside of CS doesn't play this way. I guess Rainbow Six might be the closest, because you do peek angles and hold angles, but you can play a bit more aggressive in Rainbow Six than you can in this.
Yeah.
But it's a ton of fun.
I see people online asking if this is ever going to come to consoles, and there's a part of me that goes, I don't see this as being a very good console game, because controllers need that aim assist, because no one is 100% accurate.
I asked that on the last show, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, like the reason why aim assist exists is because it's incredibly difficult to aim with a fucking thumbstick, right? Like it's not easy to play with a controller. So that mechanism's designed to help you, because it's easier to aim with a mouse, right? It's easier to get to the target. How fast you get to the target and if you remain on target and all of those things are what makes the game difficult. But if you have a mechanism built into the game that helps you, then it takes away from it. So personally, I hope it doesn't come to console, because it's going to be hard to make the game successful there. I'm pretty sure Counter-Strike went to console and it was miserable. I think it failed.
It didn't kick off.
Yeah, so
I am seeing that Rainbow Six doesn't also have. Apparently, Rainbow Six Siege doesn't have aim assist on the console version either.
well, maybe that's why no pro players are on console, because they can't fucking shoot the guns.
Sounds like it would be rage-inducing for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, for you, yes, you would hate it. You'd hate it. You wouldn't enjoy a second of it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed my time, but I was miserable the first play session, because I didn't expect to be as bad as I was. Because like I said, I've had a lot of faith in my ability to shoot things in every game that I've played, right? Doesn't mean I'm the best player at it, but I'm a pretty, confident player in FPSs, and this is the first one in a long time that's challenged me. So yeah, I'll be playing it for a while. I don't really think anything's going to pull me away from it from the time being. And I was loving Warzone and playing Rainbow Six. What's that?
Sorry, I'm definitely ready to jump in for some more Valorant as well, because I'm having a damn good time with it.
Yeah, and like you said, I think the abilities add a really nice layer. There's a lot of complaints around, and this was going to happen when you add abilities into the mix, is who's overpowered, who's not, all of these things. They just nerfed one of the heroes.
Yeah, the one I use.
The one you use got nerfed, yeah.
Yeah, Raze.
Because there was a lot of complaints about. So when the game was coming out, it was mentioned by the head of the studio that abilities will not be able to kill. Like, this is going to come down to precise aiming and strategy, and abilities will only be there to assist you. They won't be there to help you get kills. And then they released a new character for the beta, which has an ultimate, which is a rocket launcher. and then has C4 and has grenades. All of those things can one hit kill
helpful.
you. And it, the way that they structured the character was, your grenades recharged automatically, so you can just, you can't spam them, but you would get them back if a match went through overtime. You would get them back a few times, so you could spam them. And they had an initial explosion and then a secondary explosion, and the secondary explosion killed you outside of the actual radius of the grenade, and it was a whole thing. People were fucking up in arms about
it. Great grenade. I love it. Love using
it. And in fairness, like it was a bit much, so they toned it down already. Like the game's been out for 3 weeks, and they've already, they've been super responsive, which is very good coming from a person that's played Destiny primarily for, I don't know how long has it been at this point. Fuck. A 6 long years. Time. Yeah.
2014.
Right. Yep. And Destiny 2 on PC has been the game that I've played, the most. It's great to see the responsiveness, which is another great aspect of this, is that the devs are wanting it to be successful and are really showing that by engaging.
Yeah. It's such a hard contrast with like Trials of Osiris in Destiny 2 and what's going on there.
Yeah, and it also, like, I'm gonna fucking armchair.
You have to be able to respond quickly to changes and balance your game, especially when you want to be in this competitive environment, right? Like you have to be able to keep the game updated and balanced in order to retain. You don't want what's happening in Destiny, I guess you could say right now, by dropping the ball.
Miserable experience.
Yeah,
just all around. I mean, and yeah, I mean, it's different for a game like Destiny because of the size of it, because of PvE and PvP. Like, there's more that goes into it. But, at a basic level, the engagement is pretty poor, and their responsiveness is pretty poor. So, seeing the flip side of this, seeing engagement on Reddit, like long conversations on the Valorant subreddit from developers, not just a community manager, but the actual people that are writing the game, and having that level of engagement shows that they want it to be successful.
Yeah, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But, and again, I mean, responding immediately, like saying something in response is one thing, and then taking action is another. Yep. Destiny doesn't do either, right? Call of Duty barely does either. So, like, this isn't a like, how long has it taken Infinity? What the fuck is the COD developer?
Infinity Ward.
I got half of it right. Like, they finally have talked about how they're dealing with cheaters after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of
that's
cheaters, right?
That's in the news this week about how console players are opting out of playing crossplay because they don't want to be pooled with PC players because they're cheating rampantly.
Right. And it's not an easy thing to solve for.
Too, No, you're right. Actually, that's a good point. I disagree.
I get that it's none of these things it's very easy as the player to say just fix it, right? But like, the lack of engagement, the lack of transparency, we're working on it, or we're gonna fix it, is it doesn't cut it now, right? That's not the approach that you can take. This isn't, we're not reading Game Informer magazines anymore, where you can drop a one line and hope that that's enough to make the players happy. Like, it's just not where we're at with gaming anymore. You need to be engaging if you want to keep your player base.
It's true.
You take a look at any other game like PUBG. I mean, if you follow anything going on with PUBG, their top content creator doesn't want to play the fucking game anymore. 2 of their top content creators don't want to play the game anymore because the developers don't listen. They just make shit trying to compete with other games instead of actually listening to the players, right? So it's if you want to keep the base,
So, like, is that a reason why you think Fortnite is so popular? Because they can keep cranking out content and keep updating and keep balancing, and like, Fortnite's known to drop a gun the moment they see it's not working in their game. Like, they're willing to, like, on the fly be like, okay, we got to turn this off because it's not working. We got to fix this and come back to it. And it still maintains its massive player base.
Yeah, I mean, I think to an extent. Yeah, I mean, I think Epic Games set themselves up to be able to do that, just like Riot Games has set themselves up to be able to do that for their IP. I think I think Fortnite's in probably one of the worst places that it's ever been in because they've stopped responding and stopped listening. And most of their top content creators are frustrated with the game and have moved on to things like Warzone or Valorant or, whatever, because they don't feel like they're listening. And a lot of their top pro players are feeling the same way. But yeah, I think when you have a single focus, which is one mode, one map, it's much easier to respond. I don't envy Bungie and the work that they have set for themselves, but
yeah, I mean, it's going to hit different when you've committed to a 3-month update timetable,
Sure.
And then someone plays new content week 1 and they go, oh, cool, we have 2.75 months to wait for any difference in this. This is fucking
Right.
sick. I'm going to go play Valorant.
Right. Yeah. And to that end, we've seen a lot of content creators step away from, and it's not just Destiny, right? Like I just mentioned, it's happened with PUBG. It's happening with Fortnite. It's very easy for your player base to walk away and try something new. So, but yeah, in terms of Valorant, I love it. I can't wait to play more of it. Get better.
I'm always
at it.
down. I'm always down to play some.
I'm very scared, but I'm kind of ready to dip my toe in. I was just saying before the show, I was watching a lot before, like as the drops are happening, and I haven't checked in a couple of days, and I was logging on Twitch obviously to get everything set up, and I got the drop 5 days ago.
Very
so
nice.
I was like,
You should definitely try it, man. I know Diamond tried it and it wasn't his cup of tea.
right.
But
I just keep thinking back to our whole PvP adventure last summer, and the growth over that period, and how fun that was to engage on a different level.
Why wasn't it Diamond's cup of tea? Did he give you a reason?
I haven't spoken with him in a while, but
He had a tweet out.
yeah, he did send a tweet out, but I told him in the tweet that all he did was praise the game and then say that it wasn't his cup of tea, so I'm not quite sure why.
So he said he said it was great, but he won't play it.
Yeah, I mean, all it said was his tweet was just going over all of this stuff, like how he had just gotten a triple kill and they just won the game, and then at the end of it, he was just like meh and uninstalled it. So maybe he just didn't feel engaged while he was playing it, right? Like maybe he didn't feel the same way. Like he's really back into Overwatch right now. He's really loving Overwatch. So maybe he just didn't get that same feeling of excitement playing Valorant as he does playing another shooter, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, if you got the drop, please, install it. You can hop in. The only words of wisdom I would give you is just be prepared to just die a lot.
Oh, yeah,
and,
dude.
But getting a kill, even now, me just getting a kill feels great. It feels so rewarding. Like tapping somebody's head and one bullet killing them feels incredible. Like there's this single shot rifle called the Guardian that Neo and I both love.
Yeah, man.
Which is essentially like a DMR in another game, or a scout rifle in Destiny.
Right.
And it's a one-shot headshot kill. And walking around a corner or holding a lane and seeing a player model walk across your screen and just tap them. It's great.
Head.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And then like I said, learning the abilities and how that plays into the mix is a whole nother level.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, I would definitely down for you to jump in and play. That would be awesome. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe an update in the near future. I don't think they've really said when it's going to end. I think it's probably going to run for a while. The game's supposed to come out full release. I think they said summer.
Yeah, I think they said the whatever their program is, the beta is just kind of going to a rolling release, is my understanding, until it's fully ready to go.
Yeah,
and
I think
at that point you can get drops and get access.
Right. Yeah, I think they essentially said that they're going to run the beta up until launch almost. So that's pretty cool. There's some negative things happening about the anti-cheat. I don't know if that's worth talking about, if you guys want to hear about that, but
Yeah, I do.
Is this the thing about how it has to run, like it stalls at a deep level on your computer kind of thing?
yeah, so it runs on the kernel. So it's running upon boot, not upon game launch. Which a lot of you have a few sides of this. Well, actually, you have two sides of this. You have the people that don't give a fuck, right? Just install whatever you want on my PC. It's perfectly fine. And then you have the people that are like, no, this company is owned by Tencent, and Tencent is owned by the Chinese government. These people are stealing my information. They can't steal my information. Why does this need to happen? Now I'm going to uninstall the game, right? What's actually happening, who knows? But the main point of contention is that other anti-cheats don't launch until the game launches. So you launch the game, the anti-cheat launches, and then you play the game and it just runs in the background. The reason why they're saying it runs upon boot is because it's harder for a cheat to run, because most cheat programs you launch first, it's running, and then you run the game, and that's how people get around it, because the anti-cheat's not running yet. I don't know how true that is. But that's their claim, that it needs to run on boot, that all it's doing is just launching and waiting for the game to be run. It's using minimum resources. It's not sending or receiving any information. That's what they claim. But, you have your tinfoil hat theories. You have people that are concerned about their security and privacy.
Yeah, of course. It's the internet.
So there is some grumblings about it. And there's people saying that they should change it so where it should run at game startup instead. But I don't know if that will change. I have not personally felt like I've encountered a cheater yet playing the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may feel that way because some kids are really, really good, and it's sometimes hard to tell the difference, but I don't really feel like I have. And I've also witnessed streams where people have been banned mid-game against cheaters. Like Summit was playing, and it could just be because it was Summit and he had, 80,000 viewers, but he was in a game and someone was for sure cheating, very easy to see, and it was on like round 8 or 10, and like they were spawning in, and all of a sudden a message popped up that said, like, you've encountered a cheater, this player's been banned, the game has ended, and it just booted them back to lobby, and the game ended and the cheater was banned. And it could be because
Ryan did respond to this in the Reddit thread where this was posted,
right?
Well. Yeah, they said it doesn't collect any other information and everything.
Right.
I'm
the company.
I'm always proud of that. Sorry,
Them
banning cheaters. I fucking hate cheaters with my soul.
tell that to tweet that at Bungie, dude.
No, I already tweeted it, Bethesda. That's why I don't play in anything but the private world now. I won't fuck with people.
It's honestly it's a major problem.
Yeah.
Right. It's a major problem. And while it affects PC gamers a little bit more than it affects console gamers, like console has its fair share of problems too with people getting hit offline.
Yeah. Right now, what's today's the 22nd? There's probably a hot fix right now on Fallout because last week somebody figured out how to duplicate weapons in the goddamn vending machines. And that's what this whole past week they had to lock out vending machines, your ability to put anything into a display case. Like all this shit. I mean, it's minor for me because I'm playing in private world. But there's a bunch of people who have economies with their vending machines. And all that had to be dropped for the whole week because a bunch of dumb fucks, Yeah,
I mean, it's for sure frustrating. Like, I don't mind it as much in an arena shooter as much as I do where there's stakes involved, right? So, like, if I'm playing Warzone and I've just played for 20 minutes, and it's down to like the final 10 people or whatever have you, but I've invested this much time into it. And then we get to like the final circles, and then I find out that there's been a cheater in the lobby, and I just die, to whatever reason, because he could see behind walls or he shoots, whatever it is. Like, I've just invested this time, and all of that time was wasted playing the game because now I've encountered it at the end. Or in Destiny, win trials because I've gotten to, 6 wins, and on my final win to go to the lighthouse, I get a guy that has a full auto sniper that can't miss. Like, all this whole play session has been wasted on this at the end, right? Like, when I go to if I went,
did that actually happen?
Oh, it's so here are the common hacks in Destiny right now. You have wall hacks, meaning that the player model is seen through everything, so they know where you are at all times. You have infinite supers, infinite respawn. You have full auto snipers, full auto rocket launchers. You have
oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah,
They have the Resident Evil 3 sheets.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like you plugged in a Game Shark and you did what you would do when you were 10.
It's pretty fucking insane right
Wait,
now.
it got that
It's
bad?
awful. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. I won't play it until they figure it out. So yeah, it's bad.
I didn't realize it was that bad. Jesus.
But in a game like Valorant, okay, if I go into the lobby and someone's cheating, right? Well, I'm gonna just leave, right? Like there's nothing for this beta, mind you. Like if it was a ranked game and I was trying to climb ranked, and sure, I would probably be frustrated with it. But when there's no real stakes involved because it's a beta and I'm just trying to learn it, okay, this guy's cheating, whatever, fuck it. But it's a major problem that developers have, and it's not an easy one to solve because people are spending good money on these, right? There was a guy that interviewed a Bungie hacker, or a Destiny hacker. He was playing a Trials game. The guy was cheating. He asked the guy at the end of the Trials map, "Would you mind doing an interview with me?" And the guy agreed. And he did an interview with this dude, and I would encourage you to listen to it. Can you give me all of this man's motivations? This is I don't agree with them, but the reason why this guy began cheating in Destiny is because he claims that his actual account got banned, and they wouldn't unban him. And he's saying that they wrongfully banned him, and he lost all of the progress that he made playing Destiny over 2 years, and they wouldn't give him his account.
So his response is to perform illegally in Destiny. Wow.
Correct. Revenge. Fuck them. They don't want to. His response was essentially, they ruined my game, so therefore I'm going to ruin it for as many people as possible because they don't want to fix their game. And that was his response. And he said like the cheat's $20. He paid $20 and he got the cheat. And if his account gets banned, he just creates a new Steam account. There's no way around it. He just creates a new Steam account and he launches the game. It's free to play. Like yes, it's you can do it as many times as you want. You can't stop them. So there's people wanting to put it behind a paywall, but then the argument comes, well, this dude just spent $20 for a cheat. Would he pay the $20 to get behind the paywall and then pay $20 more for the cheat and still cheat? So
how far hackers go.
Right. So it's it's an interesting conversation because it's becoming, as more and more games come out that are popular, people are going to cheat in them. Right. So it's a big topic.
It's been a problem since the beginning of online games.
Yeah.
Cheaters.
Yeah. I feel like it's ramped up though in terms of people's skill, obviously, skill at making the cheats, skill at employing them, and obviously like how easy it is to disseminate this stuff and this information. So it just got to be
the longer the game's out, the easier it is.
Since we're kind of on this topic, can I bring up this and kind of weave it in?
Sure,
please do.
So apparently this week, the source code for Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Go was leaked. And people are panicking because they think it's going to actually, because of the method of how the source code is leaked, if you're playing, I want to say non-Valve versions of their games, like on their servers, if you're like playing custom games or whatever in any of these types of games, you can get like people can like kind of inject the code into your side of the client almost and kind of like corrupt it or give you a virus, I guess you could say. But Valve is saying that there is nothing to worry about.
Of course.
That sounds like bullshit.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
I smell some bullshit.
Yeah.
Can I read their?
Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Keep playing.
Read it. Yeah.
Might I read their quote? We reviewed the leaked code and we believe it to be a reposting of a limited CSGO engine code depot released to partners of late 2017 and originally leaked in 2018. From this review, we have not found any reason for players to be alarmed or avoid the current builds. As always, playing on official servers is recommended for the greatest security. We will continue to investigate. That makes me a little worried. But we will continue to investigate the situation. We'll update news outlets and players if we find anything otherwise. And then in the meantime, they do have information at their security page. Oh, it's just we believe in security.
Is there something more fun?
Of course we do.
For clarification on my end, is there something more fun about not playing in the official Valve servers?
Yeah. Oh, so a cool thing about like Team Fortress and Counter-Strike there are a million styles of custom games. Yeah. There's like Counter-Strike has like zombies mode. There's God, I can't even name them all.
And those
because,
are not made by Valve. Those are made by like players. or
Correct.
People.
The Source engine alone is very open to customization, and people can make, like, Gary's mod was born out of that, because people can manipulate the game engine and do all kinds of crazy shit, like really crazy shit. And there are millions of game modes that I used to play in Counter-Strike that are completely custom games, custom maps. People make their own maps. They make everything. And official servers will just be like the basic game, right? Like, it'll just be like you're playing Counter-Strike, the game mode, or
Cool.
Team Fortress, the game modes. But
Yeah,
people,
that clarifies. I was just wondering.
there are hundreds of custom servers that you can go on in Counter-Strike, even to this day, and Team Fortress, I assume, and just go nuts and play all kinds of different crazy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened like today, or like the past 2 days.
It's a potential problem. Like if someone has that intent, the average person is going to just click on a server.
Yeah,
Or is going to just install something. Like, think about, just security in general. People are far too trusting on the shit they click install for.
when you
or
join a
do.
custom server in like Team Fortress or Counter-Strike, it actually automatically downloads whatever assets that the game needs to join that custom game.
There you go.
It just does it. You're just watching the download bar go.
It's very easy to sneak something in there. Very,
Yeah.
very easy.
Bam, done. It's crazy.
Expect a rise in sheets, but wait back for word on anything else from Valve.
I'm
That's
gonna keep paying for the Fallout private world and until somebody hacks the private world, and then I'll stop paying them.
Yes, that alone is a good enough reason to do it, right?
Yeah,
Not to be cheated at.
exactly.
For real. Isn't that sad, though? Isn't that sad that we're at the point now that we would pay extra money
For more security.
for more security? Like
Yeah.
the fucking product that we're buying can't pay enough, so we have to give them more money to protect us.
Right,
It's
exactly.
fucking wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, the onus should be completely on them. And if there's any breach in that product, like, I'd be appalled if I like owned these games, these products, and the shit was just so blatantly being torn the fuck open.
Yeah.
Like, that's your shit. That's your baby.
There was a couple of I don't know how many months back, but there was a PC only Fallout glitch where somebody could walk up to you and you had a bunch of weapons in your inventory or whatever, and they could view your entire inventory and take whatever they wanted.
Well, I mean, a
Out
glitch,
of-
I feel, is
out-
different.
out
You
of
know,
your
like, that shit
inventory.
sucks, obviously. But, like, the ability to have someone kind of blow your game wide open and then create viable products to use against you in a game. That
Yeah,
kind
like,
of
what
shit
if
is-
someone just walked up to you with a full auto bow? Like, and didn't stop firing. Like, it just doesn't stop. Like, you
the one
can't.
clip of Frostbolt, like,
Yeah.
going around a corner and someone fucking with a rocket launcher, full auto rocket launcher. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, there's one of the best. Yeah, it's one of these. He's a god in Destiny. He's like one of the best players, and the trials round just starts. Like, they just spawn in, and he walks like 3 feet, and all of a sudden, a Titan with a super is
This
like.
thing's fucking in his air. Like,
The Titan with a super is flying in. Someone's like shooting a full auto rocket launcher at him and a full auto sniper at them, like, all at once. And like, what do you even do? It's like what,
beams of fucking light flying right at your face.
but like that's one of their top content creators, and that's
Yeah.
their experience, right?
Someone took
Like,
Giggs'
that's-
gon away the other day too.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Somebody
They
did
legitimately
what?
took
They
his
took
gun.
someone's-
Like, he couldn't use a
Destiny's a
gun.
shooter, right? Like, you always have to have a gun. You can't not equip a gun. It just, you always have a gun. You either have gun 1, 2, or 3 on your character. They
Right.
took his gun away in a PvP match, and he's running around with fucking fists. like,
How
fucking-
did
he's
he
like, "I don't have
know-
a fucking gun?
How did he know it was like a glitch or whatever?
Because
I-
you don't have a gun in the game.
Yeah, and
right.
I think also because he killed the person, and the person automatically respawned in front of him, and then he lost his gun after that.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry, that's
Yeah, so like the person died, he
It sucks, but it's
respawned,
hilarious.
and then
Yeah, I
lost
mean, it
his
makes
gun.
a great clip, but it speaks to the wider
because
problem.
they're
It's a huge problem.
They're digital terrorists. They like to shout out when they've done what they've done successfully. Correct.
I mean, like, these
There's
players
usually a
are seeing
calling
it.
card.
I mean, these players are seeing it more because they invest more time in it. Granted, right? They're playing way more than the average person, so the average person might not see it as much as them, but it doesn't mean that it's not a problem, right? Like, if I play the game 8 to 10 hours a day, I'm going to encounter it more than someone that plays it a couple times a week and plays
Sure,
for a
yeah.
handful of hours, right? But like, it's a problem when your content creators are walking away, one, for a lack of content in Destiny's terms, right? But also because they can't even play the game because there's that many cheaters that they're encountering, which is, yeah, it's a problem. Man.
Yikes.
Like so many of them have already said, if next gen Destiny 3 on next gen consoles is 60 FPS, that they will, if Destiny doesn't address it, they'll all go back to console. Every single one, all of the PC players will go back to console and play Destiny on console again
at that point,
if they can hit 60 FPS or higher.
Do they feel that there's going to be more security back on console?
Well, the only thing you have to worry about on
consoles, right?
Yeah, the only thing you have to worry about on console is getting hit offline.
People can't really modify code. They can't inject code as easily into consoles. You know, that's why, like, with the Call of Duty issue.
Yeah, that's why Fallout
console
doesn't have the
players,
issues.
Yeah, like really it just comes down to being, someone finding out your IP address, and there's ways around doing that on console to hide and mask that stuff. So, that's the networking side of things is the only things you have to worry about. Someone, taking advantage of the game itself and cheating in the game itself is just, it's not possible. I'm sure it exists to a certain degree, but it's not like it exists on PC. So yeah, it's fucking sad, to be honest.
Wild times, dude.
But on to brighter news. You guys want to talk about Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah. What do we have to say about it? Because we talked really deeply.
We talked a lot about it last week. I'm still not through it. Yeah, I'm only playing it on stream. And did you finish it, Neo? Because I think you said you were.
So funny you should say that. I want to inject a little opinion into where I'm at with Final Fantasy right now.
Okay.
Because I'm loving every moment of it. I think it's really cool and everything they're doing is really great. But then there are these moments where I'm like, well, do we really need to be doing this right now? Where the cast will go, oh, now I got to climb monkey bars for like 15 minutes. Like I literally thought I was 3 hours from the end of this game. Like literally where the part of the game they said it is going to end at the end of the Midgar section, right? And then they just threw this whole other block of game.
Bro, spoilers, bro.
Like I know, I'm trying not to, but like, and then there's a moment where
for me, I'm being selfish.
For you, I know, I'm not trying to. I'm not going to say specifically what's happening. I won't.
Okay.
I'm not going to divulge it at all. But like last night, I'm playing, and I'm like, man, I thought I would be done this like hours ago, but like the game is still going, which for some people could be really exciting. But what they're having me do is really tedious, and it's not the best parts of the game. I think, like combined with like some of the slow world animations that they have you like like when you're like scooting between like boxes, and like it's always kind of janky when you're like grabbing a ladder or trying to open a chest. A lot of
the interact has a little bit of a delay, or like putting your sword away after you smash boxes. I think you were saying
definitely a delay with that. And then like Cloud will like run a little too fast sometimes when you're trying to like get through certain objects. Anyway, like that aside, it's like now they've added more gameplay on top of more extraneous gameplay that they're I don't want to spoil it. Like I don't want to spoil it for you, but like what they're having me do right now is just tedious busy work instead of going to the end of the story. Like they're like really expanding the padding of what's going on right now. And that's not to say like I actually enjoyed doing the side quests, like all like those like in the map, you have those blocks of side quests that they
sure,
give you.
yeah.
Really, I really like that because it fleshes the world out. It really lets you talk to the people of the slums, and you get to enjoy that kind of thing, and that's really fun. But it's like now I'm in like this final stretch of the game. I think, I don't know, and they're just making me do these like weird corridor puzzles, and it's really like.
Would you say like you feel like you're ready to be done, and this is just kind of they've added a lot obviously in the game.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't in the original, and 99% of it is to the benefit of the story and your experience from at least what I've seen. Like everything has just been an amazing addition, highlighting or like giving you more information about something that you are familiar with what happened. Maybe showing you from a different angle, or like, adding literally some of the story that happened when you were supposed to be asleep, or, like whatever. It's all been fantastic. But is this something maybe they've added where you're like, we didn't need this. This doesn't help anything.
Maybe it didn't help that I had already been playing like 6 to 7 hours that day, and I had told myself like, yeah, this game's like almost over. Like this is the moment, this is the climax, right? And now it's like I'm still going, and I don't want to spoil anything. Like I want to have a full on spoiler talk.
That's how I feel nowadays in every Martin Scorsese movie I watch.
It's exactly
his hallmark for
they are
fucking
Martin
life, dude.
Scorseseing this game right now.
But I think you should trust your gut there, though, right? Like if you feel like the game, and I would be interesting to see if Trip feels the same way when he gets there. But if like you feel like you've hit the climax,
Yeah.
and then the game is giving you more work to do, that's because they felt like they wanted to give you more value out of what you were actually getting versus did they think they added enough value leading up to that point?
I feel like I've already played 35 plus hours, you know?
Yeah, dude, I'm at 30 hours of this game, and I had your stream on today. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm at the section, a point of the game now where I can essentially go to any slum, like any sector, essentially finish up any side quest that I haven't done or still have to do, and then my next adventure is going to be going up to the plate to actually go to the Shinra headquarters.
So that's that's how I started my stream yesterday.
That's 30 hours in, so I already feel like I've gotten a fantastic boost.
Me too.
In value, like. I mean, as I'm talking, I'm just gonna look up like how long to beat on the original Final Fantasy VII.
The quality of all these cutscenes have been outstanding. Like they've outstandingly recreated the experience in a modern setting with these characters. Like they've done it. Like they nailed it. That I can tell you with 100% certainty. But then the gameplay wise, like I love the combat. The combat's absolutely engaging. But now I'm doing these like things outside combat that are just like driving me crazy. Like I just give me things to fight. Give me more character interactions. Give me more of that.
Yeah. Did you play the original Lock?
I did. I actually talked to Neo about this because he was asking me if I was going to get it, and I think I will eventually. But Final Fantasy VII was not my Final Fantasy as it was for these guys. Like I played 7 later. My first ever Final Fantasy was 8, but like my Final Fantasy that I would go ape shit over for a remake would be 9. Like if they modernized 9 more.
I never touched 9.
Like 9 was my first. Yeah. 9 was my first that I really really loved, and then 10 is like 10's. I love 10. I'll play 10. Dozens and dozens of times. So
this has a lot of similarities to 10 in terms of its structure, where it takes you through areas and then like you can kind of double back for quests and stuff like that.
What console was it 10 on?
10 was PS2.
PS2.
9 was PS1.
Yeah.
I think it was just my age when 7 was out. Like it wasn't a game that I would have just stumbled into unless like, I was like, what's this? Let me try it, and then played it. Like it wasn't. I was playing like Twisted Metal when 7 was out.
Yeah.
Right? It just wasn't my type of game.
So was I.
So like I went back and played 7 after I had played 9 and 10. So it just doesn't hit the same beats for me, but I definitely want to play it because it looks great. But I personally like hearing it from the outside from someone that hasn't played it in your description now. Like, I think they may have been concerned doing it episodically, right? And then paying $60, right? To get it, right? To only get a portion of the game. They may have added stuff in it unnecessarily because they may not have been confident that you would have said, okay, 30 hours is worth my $60 for this remake.
Yeah.
I think what bothers me most about this particular section is I promise I'm not spoiling this for you, Trip. I don't want to. But a really big scene happens, right? Like a really big reveal moment. And then they just cut it off and go, guess what? You have like another 2 hours before the game continues. Like a major character reveal happens and a major appearance happens and a thing happens, and then like they go, nope, stop you right there. You're gonna start at the bottom and work your way back to the top. And like I'm like, why are we doing this? Why am I doing this? But it's granted it's cool because there's other reasons why it's cool, but and like they split the team up and stuff. Like it's a whole thing, dude. All right, I don't want to keep going with it.
I looked up how long to beat the original, and if you do nothing but power through the main story, it's 38 hours. So I'm almost there. I will be there. I'll probably be longer than there, finishing this game. And every single thing that I've added that wasn't like, air quotes, in the original game has been absolutely fantastic. And like I would say like done nothing but highlight the original story.
I hope you feel the same way with me when you get to this part. I
mean,
yeah.
I don't think you're wrong because as I'm thinking about this, I remember scrolling through Twitter trying to avoid a lot, obviously, before I started playing this game 2 weeks ago. And
there are articles
I saw
everywhere about the freaking ending of this game, and I can't.
So I saw literally someone tweet was like,
stop avoiding them. Like I had
the
to
tweet was like absolutely masterpiece of a game, except that very end, like oof, something like that. Like I saw someone like have that in their tweet,
and I'm like, what is it? I gotta beat the game. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, we'll see. Probably when I play it again on Friday, I'll finish up all the quests down below because you can't go back.
Yeah.
You know, when you climb to the top.
Did they ever say that if they're gonna port it to PC, the remake?
Not
There's-
officially.
not
There's
officially.
hints though. There's rumors.
Like there were screenshots that were like captured on a PC, like literally captioned that way on the image.
PC would definitely reduce some of the texture pop. That's the only visual thing that's a little aggressive. There's a lot of texture pop.
Major texture pop. Digital Foundry was also like, these characters are beautifully detailed and modeled, but what is going on with these textures on the ground and the doors?
Yeah.
And like I noticed it like in the beginning, like you get shown to Cloud's apartment in the game, right? It's like one of the first things that happens. And like you got Cloud, this amazingly detailed character, and next to this door that looks like it's like a 480p image, and I'm like, and I looked at it like as I was on stream, I was like, guys, are you seeing this? Like this door looks like it was from PS1.
It's so funny too, because sometimes they do like real cinematic pans over something, and like maybe a cup hasn't fully popped in, and you're like, oh god.
But the character model's beautiful. Absolutely.
Right. It's like the most.
Oh yeah, I mean,
funny. Just takes
yeah.
it out.
Most of the things that I've caught have been cutscenes, things that I've watched, and they all look incredible. Right, like the characters look great. I was just curious because it would be like if they had teased it, or if the rumors seemed like actually was going to happen, that I would just hold off and wait.
Yeah.
And
Hey
get it
man,
there
you
instead.
can borrow my copy when I'm done. I don't see myself like playing through this whole thing again. If you want it, I'll mail it to
Replaying
you. Yeah.
Okay, right now my brother-in-law just let me borrow Fallen Order for PS4, so
Have fun with that.
I think I might jump into that. I haven't played a
Nice,
console
dude.
game in
what
quite some time.
difficulty are you gonna pick, man?
Dude, I don't know, fucking the easiest thing possible. I mean, I'll have to be doing it while I wrangle a fucking 2-year-old. So
I think you'll
I
be
don't
fine
think
with
I'll,
the second from the bottom. That's what I played on.
second from the
I
bottom.
tried Jedi Knight, I think, which is the second from the top.
Right.
And
Is top the hardest?
No, Jedi Master is the hardest, and then Jedi Knight
Which is
is
the
right
top,
below
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you were just saying top and bottom, and I wasn't sure how they
Sorry,
organized.
top
collection.
in the when you're looking at the interface, the UI of the game.
Sure.
But the top one is Jedi Master, and then the one below that's Jedi Knight, I believe, and then the one below that I can't remember what Jedi.
Padawan.
No, there was no Padawan. You're a Jedi through the whole thing, but it's different degrees of Jedi.
They don't want to insult you,
Yeah.
obviously.
I didn't want to insult you.
But second from the bottom is what I played, and but I started it on the second from the top, and it was just fucking. It was too hard for me. Neo was big dicked and fucking
I
kicked
big
some
dicked it.
ass. He big dicked it. Did you do Master?
I did the second from
The
the
top.
hardest.
Yeah,
The second from the top. Yeah.
hardest,
I didn't want to kill myself.
Hardest.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think I'm going to jump into it. I had to go over there to drop something off to him, and he like through the door was like, "You want to borrow any games?" And I was like, what do you have? So he texted me. I'm literally standing outside of his house. Texted me a picture of his shelf because I can't go in. I didn't want to go in there because quarantine and all. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take Fallen Order if you don't
Like door
don't
cracks
mind.
open, just fucking sneak it through.
Me and Neo realized that you should definitely fight the frog in the beginning.
Fight that frog in the beginning. all right?
Definitely fight that frog.
Okay.
But be patient, young Padawan.
You gotta realize that frog is your test to prove if you're a real Jedi or not. If you do
10-4.
well on the frog, then you'll know the difficulty that you can play.
Fight the frog.
Fight the frog.
I couldn't
live by.
on the second one from the top. I could not fight the frog, and that was your test. And then I went,
fought the
okay,
frog on that.
he fought the frog on that one and succeeded. I fought the frog and failed. So I said, fuck it, and I'm gonna move down difficulty, and then I beat the frog.
That's the test, man.
That's the test. That frog in the beginning.
But yeah, I'm really excited. We Trip. I know. I have a feeling we're gonna finish this game at pretty much the same time. Because I'm like a little bit ahead of you.
You'll be a day or two ahead of me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm committed to playing it on stream as hard as that is. So if I don't beat it Friday, it'll be Monday that I'll be touching it again. So you might have a couple days on me.
Cool. But yeah, hopefully next week maybe we can do like a little spoiler section of the podcast. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd
for
like
sure.
I would very much like to do that.
Full spoiler talks.
Warning, yeah.
Because like it's wild. You do actually have to be careful. Like as a veteran player, there are segments of this game that are brand new to you and do amazing things for the story. That's the coolest part about it. And that are great, that are exciting and engaging and fully fleshed out and new characters and just like shit that all makes sense. And like I trust it because it's the same
nice
development
surprise,
team originally.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
like
a nice
so these guys
surprise to
know
see
what they're
that
talking
stuff.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much is.
And that's the stuff I like. 100%.
Well, it just helps to elevate it, you know, as opposed to like I'm playing a, you know, sure, a very well realized, redone, reimagined, resystemed, retooled version of the game. But if you don't add anything, you're just playing the exact same thing.
Yep.
You know, but all the little tiny things they've added just add up to such an amazing experience. I keep, you know, freaking out about the music, dude. The music is
Oh my god,
so incredibly amazing.
I can't get over it. Every time I hear a new track, like even not even just the jukebox stuff, like just like when it just like starts playing, and I'm like,
Right.
holy shit! I can't believe
I
they're
know.
just pulling this off with this music cue. It's
Yeah, dude,
beautiful.
it's wild.
Yeah.
Is the soundtrack online?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube clips you can find
Nice.
from the game.
Oh, I'm gonna have
Very
to,
nice.
yeah, I'm gonna have to listen.
I had to find the Airbuster battle theme because that's like the tougher boss theme, and the first time you hear it in the original game is Airbuster. So like when you fought the Airbuster in this one, they like really fucking expanded it. And I had to find the remix on YouTube because me and our good friend Kevin Oates, of course, we had the song as one of our tracks in the first Power Hour we ever made. So I had to find it and then send it to him and be like, dude, listen to what they did with this track.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Fucking Kevin Oates.
It's epic. It's like an 8.5 minute long, 9.5 minute long track with zero looping. Like it just the song just morphs and changes and gets more epic and adds, you know, fucking electric guitar and all just dude. Just, and that's like one. They've
it
done it
on
for every single
Spotify?
track.
Is this
Every single
soundtrack on Spotify?
No, it's not officially released. So that link that I sent you before the show, where you can
That's it.
where you can kind of just be notified to buy it, it's not out yet. I think these are like game files or someone found a copy, and I only found on YouTube. There's like YouTube videos that have the tracks, so I can drop a link for you after this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had that link specifically. Yeah. Cool. So how long are we going? Do you got time for like one news story?
Sure,
Sure.
Yeah, and then we'll call it a cast.
call it. Yeah.
So this week, as you know, I'm just gonna bring this up because this is a guy I follow all the time. Jason Schreier is leaving Kotaku.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah,
That's your
so
boy, Nia.
He's my boy. I'm always in his subtweets, you know, just subtweeting.
And you said he's going to Bloomberg, and then I
He's going
tried
to
to clarify he's going to Bloomberg Games.
He's working for Bloomberg, their gaming section of their press. You know, I'm gonna go. I don't even know what Bloomberg's website looks like. Let's
Yeah,
take
I'm
a
going to
look.
type Bloomberg Games because I think that's going to be more
And
specific.
the funny thing is he cited Go Media's new management as being one of like the reasons, like subliminally, because of what happened to like Deadspin. Are you guys familiar with what happened to Deadspin?
Yeah, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah. Just to recap for people listening, apparently the upper management said to Deadspin, stick to sports, don't go outside that box. And one of the editors got fired, one of the writers got fired, and then everyone just like quit. Everyone just left because they didn't want to shut their mouth and not write what they want to write on their publication, I guess you'd say, right? Is that an accurate
Yeah.
telling of what happened? And that didn't sit well with Schreier of Kotaku, of the same umbrella. He's in that umbrella of Deadspin. Geo Media, I guess is what he calls it, or what they call it. But I also listened to his podcast too, and they left Split Screen Podcast, and they're doing Triple Click, which is just the same podcast. Yeah, but anyway, so if all of our scoops will be coming from Bloomberg now, because that's apparently the last of the journalists.
It's kind of sad, man. Like years ago when I first started reading Kotaku, it was the site to go to for game news, man. Like even
It really was.
I mean, at the time, like I don't think I
Got an IGN.
Yeah, like I don't think I realized who he was. Like I'm sure probably some of my favorite articles were from him and I just wasn't really paying attention, but like even for just game news in general, like that's the site that I went to and that's what I read daily, you know? And then slowly over time I just stopped going to it and I would now I don't really go to websites for news. I just go to Twitter and someone on my feed gives me the article. Someone shares an
You
article.
get 95% of it. There
Yeah.
The problem now that I have with like Otaku is like 80% of it is just like puff pieces of like,
Right.
here's what I did in Animal Crossing or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
like it's a lot of like nothing. It's like a lot of like I'm gonna look at the first top thing.
I literally just saw something as I was scrolling through tonight. It was like how to beat the squat challenge in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's like,
yeah. Here's a sharp
challenge.
fan art.
Weird enough,
Sci-fi, like I don't know.
I've turned over a new leaf. I'm now getting a lot of my news from Reddit.
Okay.
Who'd have thunk it?
Careful there. Careful there.
yeah, that can be spicy.
You
I do
do
too,
got to be
but, like,
careful.
You gotta know what
Official
you're reading.
forums for the games I'm playing. Official forums here.
Well, not just in general. Like, what I do before bed every night is I read it. That's what I do in bed before going to sleep. You just need to be careful in terms of like, you can easily fall prey to articles and posts that sway in a certain direction if you're not being careful.
No,
Reddit
I'm
gets
just-
extremely
I'm
echoey.
just saying for, like-
extremely echoey.
Yeah, but I mean, I love Reddit. I mean, that's like I said, I daily. It's
I do.
nightly.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I do it. I do
Yeah.
it for Fallout. I'm in the Fallout thing on a regular basis.
Oh yeah. See, I use Apollo on iOS. I don't know if
Same.
you guys.
I have it.
I fucking love Apollo. I gave him all my money because it's
gave him money too.
fantastic. Yeah, it's a fantastic app. But
I don't know what it is.
It's a
Apollo
Reddit
is a third party Reddit client
Oh.
that I would highly recommend that you.
very good. Very, very good.
You don't have to pay for it. But if you do pay for it, you get perks. So I've given him my money because it's this one dude. This one dude runs this app, and it's
shit,
fucking
wow.
It's better than the Reddit app. Like it's way,
like, so much.
way better than the Reddit app.
And he's active in the subreddit, and he's always responding to questions about the app, criticisms, anything.
Oh yeah,
and
like
his-
if someone has a problem, he'll be like, "Oh, dude, that's a really good point. Maybe I'll try and fix it."
His patch notes are like you appreciate
Wow.
some really good patch notes, and iOS apps don't do that as often. They
Right.
just say we fixed bugs and shit.
Why
This
do you-
guy's like,
why
this
do
is
you like
everything
it?
I did. It's layout, it's
Its
organization.
layout, the UI is great.
You can like favorite subreddits that you want, put them at the top. You can organize them well. You can. There's a lot of swipe features that you can like edit and get
Yep.
really nitty gritty with. Like you can like
Download it.
really tune it. Yeah.
Yeah,
how
and
your
then
experience-
and then you get perks for buying it. And then he also, it's one of the few apps on iOS that you can go into and change what the icon looks like. So you
Oh,
can
shit.
make it look different. And each month or each update, he posts a new logo as well, a new icon, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he's pretty incredible, that dude.
dude.
And you can do it monthly too. Like he has a subscription where you just get billed like it's, like iTunes Music, like Apple Music.
Oh yeah, I just paid him when it came out. I just did it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I just went in because I was looking at like his paid stuff, and now you can do subscriptions just like any other app. But yeah, I mean that's like I do popular and trending posts is where I start, and then after I go through and I scroll far enough along in that, I go to like my Reddit, which is like all of my favorited Reddits, which is essentially just a bunch of fucking gaming specific Reddits that is just, and then all that is just news related to gaming, depending on what I follow. But the other really cool thing with that app is you can do random Reddit, which if you're ever bored, it'll just randomize a subreddit, and then you can just keep randomizing a subreddit so you can find and stumble upon. Like, do you guys ever do stumble
I
upon?
was gonna say this is like stumble upon.
Remember that? Yeah.
Dude, I used to stumble upon in college for hours. It was brutal. I wouldn't get anything done.
Just the whole internet. Here's a random website.
Yeah, for you
Right,
kids
and that's
listening,
what
it was
that's
just a
kind of what the random
website
subreddit
generator,
is.
right? It was just
Yeah.
like here's a random website that it'll just.
Where's
point
the
you
random one?
Yes. So it's inside. So when you open up the Apollo app,
Yeah, I'm in there.
it's under I think the search feature. There's random subreddit at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
to. Yeah, there it is.
But yeah, Stumble Upon was a Chrome plugin, and you would give your interests, and then it would just randomly give you a website for those interests, and you would find like websites that like you would never ever find, but you just stumbled upon them. It was a brilliant fucking plugin, dude.
Just put me on the SpaceX Reddit.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I get a lot,
yeah.
a lot of tech subreddits are really good too. Like iOS, the iOS ones are great, and or like all the Apple ones, all the Windows.
Yeah, I do like build a PC. PC Master Race is really
Battle
good.
Stations is pretty. If you want to
Battle Stations is good. Yeah.
PC porn, there you go. By that
for
I
the
mean
more tech,
sexy PCs, not porn on
Right.
PC.
the like for the more tech side of things, like I do like the sysadmin channel, the Mac sysadmin channel.
Yep.
So yeah, fucking Reddit's amazing. Just gotta be careful. But yeah, Kotaku, dude, that's fucking sad. End
Yeah.
of an era. That
Jason
shit's really
Schreier,
gonna go downhill.
Literally the last guy to be breaking hot stories.
Yeah, I don't feel like it even happens besides him. Like, who
Yeah,
the
I
fuck
don't-
else is breaking game industry stories?
It's not really. The only like journalist name I know is Paul Tassi, but he's not breaking. He's just reporting on current events and current happenings.
Yeah, he
he's-
talk a lot about
right.
Destiny.
He's
too.
Forbes.
He's Forbes.
Yeah, he is Forbes. Yeah.
Felix has been a fan of him for a long time.
Yeah, him and Eric Kane. I think his name's Eric.
It's
Kane.
funny. Bloomberg and fucking Forbes have the best game writers.
Yeah.
Those two guys are fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's. I mean, he's still gonna be breaking. Like I listened to an interview because it's funny after he announced this. Greg Miller interviewed him this past week.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, and he talked about like he's like I'm pretty much not changing what I'm doing, just where I'm doing it.
Right. It's just where it gets posted.
He still has all of his contacts and his inside
Oh,
source.
of course.
and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, so like
Yeah.
it's not like he's gonna stop writing. He's gonna probably do less game reviews, is what he said. He said he probably won't be reviewing games like he would on. Like he did the review for Final Fantasy VII on Kotaku, but he probably won't be doing more of that. He said. But either way, I go to him for what I want to know, what's happening in these studios. Like that's like the only way to find that out, more or less.
He's got a really good finger on the pulse. That's for sure. I'll probably still bop around Kotaku a little bit because the one thing I do like is Tim Robbins content.
Okay.
Is that like real dry, dude? He's done like a lot of the first video series I saw of him. He actually did Final Fantasy VII, the original, translated, where he like provided context for
Oh yeah.
what the translation should have been and how bad they were when it was originally recorded, because he like lived and worked in Japan for like, I don't know, 10 years or something. But his sense of humor is just so fucking deadpan and dry that it's like fucking hilarious.
Right.
And the other day I didn't watch the whole thing because this whole review is 40 minutes, but he pre-reviewed Cyberpunk 2077 based on all of the footage and the pre-reviews that we got.
Great.
And
Wow.
he spent 5 minutes talking about a bomber jacket he was wearing and why it was important, and then he eventually was
the
like,
yellow one?
this game is the bomber jacket of RPG, open world RPGs in September. Just like it's so fucking deadpan and roundabout, and I'm just like, this is good content
Oh
that I
my
get
God.
into. But beyond that, I'm over the Animal Crossing articles, the how to do the thing that I just did in the game.
Yeah, here's the
5 minutes
headline
ago
for you.
articles.
When
Like,
Final
we're
Fantasy
good
VII
here.
broke my heart, chasing a pig proved strangely therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's cool. I guess I'll read that. Dancing through
won't.
our bad year. Mario Maker 2's update. Okay, yeah, well,
It's all clickbait, man. That's what
Yeah.
that's what it's there for.
Yep.
It's there for clicks.
yeah, guys. Well, it's good to have you back, Locke.
Great having you. Buck.
Love it.
Yeah,
good
man.
chatting, good
It's crazy that outside of quarantine, Discord shows are easier for me, and inside of quarantine, when it should be easier for me, they're more difficult for me. So, yeah, hopefully I can be on next week.
Hell yeah, dude.
Having the
dope.
crew back together, even if we're
Keep
miles
us posted.
apart.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Cool. Should I take us out?
I think
do.
that's
Sure.
about it.
Well, I've been Neo Ayoshi. You can follow me at Twitter, Neo_Ayoshi. Oh yeah, I should probably tell you. Upcoming this May 1st, I'm on the stream team for Pause Your Game, the charity organization that I should have did this at the top of the show. Jesus.
Yeah.
A charity organization that was raising money to like help put a stop to kill shelters and find homes for animals that need homes. And they're trying to fund shelters to provide a better place for animals to live before they transition into homes, pretty much.
Right.
So I already raised money for them for 124-hour stream, but I am working with a stream team now over the course of May. Wait, hang on, I'm gonna bring up my info here. Over the course between May 1st and 3rd, a whole group of streamers are going to be streaming to raise money for Pause Your Game again. My block is Friday night, May 1st, on I think it's 8 to about 10 p.m. 8 to about 10 or 11 p.m. And that's my set goal to raise money between then. And I have incentives like I'm gonna have someone cut my hair on camera or dye it. We'll see. I'll do shots of hot sauce for certain amounts of money raised. Yes, I can handle it. I can handle it. So please look forward to that. So follow me there at twitch.tv/neoayoshi, and I will hopefully see people there.
Yeah, hit that on the top of next week.
Yeah, I'll do that. I forgot you brought it in this week, so I was like, shit.
Yeah, all good.
Oopsie. All right,
awesome.
Who's next?
This is Felix Hergood, at Felix Hergood everywhere, Twitch, Mixer. And my primary game focuses right now are the new Wastelanders content. And then I might get back into Death Stranding. That's what I'm thinking about. So I'll just
the most relevant game of our time.
I still periodically play State of Decay 2 as well. I mean, if you guys ever want to cross-play, it's actually fun. It's enjoyable.
I mean, it's not that I don't.
I just haven't brought it. I haven't brought it up to you too. Like I've been playing pretty regularly. My Fallout crew basically moved over, and we play State of Decay 2 periodically. So, but you guys could be, one of these days.
Yeah, I could. You're right. It's only a couple clicks.
Yeah.
It's only a couple clicks.
I'll text you.
Yeah.
I am Trip Zero. You guys can find me on mixer.com/trip0tv Mondays through Fridays, a 12 p.m. noon to 5 p.m. Except for Thursdays, where I stream on the Gamer Access Weekly channel as GAW or GA Weekly, mixer.com/GA Weekly, another gaming news organization. So we're kind of getting our fingers into a lot of other news places out there. That's what I'll be tomorrow, 2 to 5, playing the Division 2 because I need my service game itch because Destiny's in the dumpster. And then back again on my own channel Friday doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that's where you can find me. And all my socials are Trip0TV. Very, very easy to find.
Nice. You could find me on Twitter at lock_key. I don't really stream, but if I do go live for whatever reason, I would tweet it out first. So just follow me there. If you'd like to see me trying to pick fights with Bungie developers, that's what I usually do with my time on Twitter right now, is pick fights with people because I'm quarantined and angry. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at lock_key. Thanks for listening.
Cool. See you guys next week.
The one other thing I was going to say is if you're already subscribed, to the show, tell your friends. That's it.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, do that.
I'm
Thanks
out.
for
All right, goodbye. Bye.